Hey, you. Yeah, you. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast?
We're two busy moms and boss ladies. If we can do it, you can too. When we were trying to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions. How do we record an episode? How do we get our show into all the apps people like to listen to? How do we make money from a podcast?
The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what we're doing right now by reading this ad. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join us in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor.
That's anchor.fm/start. We can't wait to hear your podcast. You're listening to Boss Ladies and Babies.
Business Blab with Megan. It's time to take off our mom hats and let our entrepreneurial side show. So grab a notebook and give yourself a bossy timeout. Welcome back to Business Blab with me, Megan. Have you heard about Clubhouse yet? If you're new around here, you will quickly realize that I am obsessed. I'm talking obsessed with this app. It is the best app that I have ever used, and I promise you this is not an exaggeration. The connections that you can make with people from this app are so instant, so organic, and so powerful that it has become the driving lead source for my business. I started using this app back in January, and nearly 90% of my business since then has come from this app. Not to mention, it is so fun. All you have to do is show up, listen, be yourself, and literally just watch the magic happen. But as easy as it sounds, it does have a little strategy in place so that you don't miss out on anything or get overwhelmed. And so today I thought that I would share my Clubhouse strategy for how I've used Clubhouse to grow my business and create a strong presence. First things first, block out time. This app has so much value, so many experts coming on and just spilling their knowledge that it can get really, really overwhelming. And you can show up on this app and not really even know what it is that you need to do when you're there. So block your time out. Block out time to go on and listen for you so that you can learn. Block out your time to go on and listen for market research. Block out time you might be going on to prospect, and time that you're planning to go on and actually add value. Going into Clubhouse with no plan in place can leave you getting into the time suck and walking away, missing out on opportunities because you weren't being intentional. Next is to provide value. Come from a place of connection. People are not joining your Clubhouse rooms to hear you pitch at them and try to sell them your offers the entire time. That's just not why people go on this app. They are there to connect with you, to learn from you, to just interact with other humans in a no pressure place. And if your main goal is to pitch, you're just on the wrong app. Pitching does happen, and there's definitely a time and a place to do the pitching, but it should not be your main focus for why you're using the app. Instead, go in to teach, become the expert in your field, really position yourself, provide value and connection. Those really should be your top priorities. Next, create a room schedule that works for you. You do not have to host a room every single day or several rooms a day to be successful on Clubhouse. In fact, you could host less than one room a week and still make an impact. The key is to make sure that whatever you host is within your zone of genius, that whatever room you're hosting is true to who you are and it's really connecting and providing value for your ideal audience. So plan out how many rooms you want to host per month, when you'll be hosting them, and what topics they'll be, and then dive in with an action plan to make those rooms as special as you can. You don't always have to host rooms alone. The next tip is to plan how you will collab and co-moderate with others. One of the best parts of Clubhouse is the collaborations that happen. When you meet your Clubhouse bestie, it's so easy to start thinking of all the ways that you can work together and really show up and do great things together. And co-modding a room is a great place to start. Not to mention, when you get in front of someone else's audience, it's a really great way to expand your audience. So make sure that you're finding rooms and clubs to co-mod with other people that are true to your message and that they're topics that you feel really, really good speaking in. Make sure that their audience are people who are going to really appreciate what it is that you have to offer, and that there's some of your ideal client within their audience, so that when you're showing up and collabing and co-modding, you're able to be providing that value to the people who need to hear it and in turn may choose to work with you. Next is to have a plan to manage your DMs. So having some kind of plan in place for when and how you'll keep up with your DMs is really, really important. And since Clubhouse doesn't have a DM channel yet, you have to make sure that your Instagram profile is linked to your Clubhouse profile. So that's key. That's where all of the communication is happening from Clubhouse. They have Twitter linked too, but Instagram is really what people are using. And then don't forget to check the other folder on your Instagram. That's where a lot of those DMs go from people who aren't already following you. And so you don't want to have those DMs be lost and then you just never respond to potential clients. So if someone reaches out to you, make sure that you're responding as soon as you can. Even if you can't talk to them right now, just let them know, acknowledge them that you've seen them. And then you're continuing to grow that connection in the DMs. The DMs are really where the magic happens because you can continue the conversation you had on Clubhouse, really get to know each other, work on what you need, how you can help, and just let them see who you are. Next is to track your leads. So if you're following the steps above, you're really going to see leads start flowing in. I mean, really, if you are just showing up in the ways that I've talked about before this tip, you really will just see it happen. It's incredible the way that this happens. And so make sure that you have a system in place, like some kind of spreadsheet or a CRM that can track your leads so that you can nurture them. Getting them to your Instagram and following along with you is a great place to start, but you don't want people to have this amazing connection with you, follow you on Instagram, and then forget about you once your room ends. And the last step is to have fun. Clubhouse is a great place to learn and to take care of business, but it's also really fun. And you may end up going on just for pleasure and finding all sorts of business. As long as you're being you, you're going to find your people. And I promise you, you are going to have opportunities for major success on this app. Clubhouse is quickly becoming a favorite amongst many business owners, and now it's available for iPhone and Android users. So people are just showing up on this app daily. More and more people from all different walks of life, all different industries with so much to offer. But since Clubhouse is so good, it can also be a little bit, a lot overwhelming, right? If you've been there, you know, if you know, you know kind of thing. So getting your strategy in place for Clubhouse is key to get the most out of the app and avoid burnout. You really should have some type of strategy to help make this app be as beneficial as it really has the potential to be. So that's just a little bit of the strategy that I like to use. I'm curious if you have a Clubhouse strategy or if you just pop on there for fun and see what happens. And if you do have a strategy, I'd love to hear it. Feel free to send me an email at megan@bossLadiesandbabies and let me know what your strategy is. Until next time, stay bossy.
Thank you for listening to Boss Ladies and Babies. If you like this episode, be sure to rate, review, and leave us some feedback.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook and join the conversation in our Facebook group at Boss Ladies and Babies.
And until next time,
Stay bossy.
bossy.